Welcome to the Serenity Solutions podcast number 16. Wow, I still can't believe I've done 16 podcasts now. But I do love doing them, and I hope that you're listening and enjoying and taking some things from them. Today I'm going to focus on getting back into routine, and then we're going to go into meeting difficult emotions and feeling them, naming them to tame them type of reflection. And then I'm going to end with the numerology reading for the collective. So it might be very useful for me. It might be very useful for you that are listening. I hope you can hear me well. So first of all, getting back into routine. So I'm heading back to school tomorrow, and one of my biggest pieces of advice is to not leave the routine at all. So I know that sounds maybe difficult for some people, but consistency is key, right? I've done a whole podcast on consistency and how important it is. So if you don't ever fully leave your routine, so I've done podcasts on sleep as well. So for example, if you don't ever leave that sleep routine, even on weekends when you're allowed to sleep in or you can sleep in, maybe if you have kids or pets, you can't, or you push it and you try your best, but you still can't, or, it's interrupted sleep, for example. The best thing to do for our sleep is keep that routine consistent. So getting up at the same time every day, going to bed at the same time every day, having that sleep hygiene in place as much as possible, of course, helps. And then with diet and exercise, nutrition, I should say, and exercise, same thing, like staying consistent is going to give you more results than going on a crash diet and doing the diet plan for 30 days, for example, or 20 days or whatever. Some people only last a couple weeks or a week, or these New Year's resolutions where you're only implementing those resolutions for the month of January, and then there's a big percentage of people that fall off in February, right? So keeping a routine that you can manage, so something that's doable, is key, because then you can do it all the time. And I'm not saying not to have anything over the Christmas holidays, but trying to keep your routine as consistent as possible so that you don't get into that, sorry, I'm just going to let my dog in here, that routine of not following your routine, if that makes sense. So I think you know what I'm talking about here. Sticking to your routine of sleep, eating, exercising throughout your holidays is going to be your best bet to sticking to routine and getting back into routine. It's good for adults, it's good for kids, it's good for pets to stay as close to as possible to your daily routine all of the time, so that you're not, oh no, I've got to get back into routine and this sucks and Monday sucks, and it's going to be, because once you get into that mentality, you're not going to enjoy your life very much. Whereas if you stay in your routine, maybe of working a little bit each day or exercising a little bit each day, having some indulgences, but not overdoing it, is going to help you. Same with addictions, right? Like with alcohol, smoking, drugs, all the things. If you get too heavy into them, you're not going to be able to get out. Like, this is a little bit of a different topic for sure, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. And if you overindulge, you're going to get into that habit of overindulging all the time. Whereas if you indulge a little bit, for example, with drinking, maybe have one or two, you're not going to get too far off your path, although I have some insight on that maybe can be saved for another podcast, but yeah. So that is what I'm trying to say, and I'm sorry that my dog is distracting me right now, because he's saying, I want to come in, I want to go out. He's not being consistent at the moment. And so I have 3 animals, and I find like even they really thrive off of routine. And I'm going to open the door again, so it's going to make noise, and you're going to come in. Let's go. I got to do this right now. So I've mentioned in my trailer, or maybe my first podcast, that there will be a dog barking sometimes and making noise, and I can't really help it too much. Stop it. So getting back into routine, a friend mentioned maybe I could do my podcast on that today, and I said I don't know if I can talk too much about that, but my key thing about this is just to not get out of it. And I think you've probably gathered that from what I've said so far, is not to totally stray. And I know that's difficult. Hey, he just sat on my cat. Well, this life isn't so calm and peaceful at all times now. So yeah, we're all sitting on a love seat together. It's pretty cute, actually. If you want to visualize, I am in a calming space with the fire going, the computer fire going. I've got a candle lit. It's a raspberry lemon flavored, but it's soy and it's healthy and doesn't have a bunch of chemicals in it. And then my dog's sitting here beside me, and my 2 cats are also here. So they're fighting over space, of course. And I notice, like, when I'm home with them all the time, they do fight over spaces, and they have their consistent routines, and, they're used to sleeping during the day, so they would be doing that. And, like, even watching animals, I shouldn't say even, watching animals teaches you a lot about life as well, and their routines, and their need for consistency and routine and expectations. And for example, I left my dog yesterday for an appointment, and I haven't left him that much. So he kind of gave me the cold shoulder when I checked on him. I think he knows I can see in that camera, because you can probably hear it turning on, and he had his back to me. But anyways, I hope that this drives the point home that staying with your routine as much as possible, whether you are on holidays in Mexico, and you have a time change and that kind of thing, like, still, having your drinks that you have in the morning, like your morning, hopefully greens, healthy things, your ghee, your MCT oil, that kind of thing. Keeping that routine even really helps to stick to a routine of sorts. Going to the gym when you're on holidays, I always did that growing up. Whenever we'd go on holidays, I would still get that exercise in. So I think that I've always been a very structured routine person, and I don't stray from that much as an adult either. But it definitely helps you thrive. And I've heard some friends recently say, oh yeah, it's good to stick to routine, and they noticed that with me because that's the way I am, and I've always been like that. But of course I indulge in things, and I have indulged in things in the past, but that's all I can really say on getting back into routine, is trying to, especially as you get closer to your return to work, if that's what's happening for you. I'm sure there's a lot of people getting ready for the return to school tomorrow, because school starts back up in BC for sure. It probably does in Ontario and other places as well. So yeah, really not straying too far off that, not letting the kids stay up super late, like a week prior to going back would have been helpful, or even like 4 days or 5 days at least, because I do see a lot of children that say, oh, I'm tired, I'm bored, when they return from breaks, because they want to be home playing video games and watching movies and resting and doing whatever they want, right? And you know, adults feel that when they return from breaks as well, because they maybe have been staying up late, not, you know, getting up early, and so it's a real feat to get up. I know that this time of year is more difficult for people to get up in the mornings because of, we're kind of like bears and hibernate in the winter, and we want to be like moving slower, and that's natural for that winter season. So doing things that nourish your body, like eating the seasonal vegetables and nurturing vegetables, comforting food as much as we possibly can, but also eating healthy and eating healthy fats and proteins and not so many sugars and the inflammatory foods that don't help us at all, right? I was at the chiropractor yesterday, and I had hit my head a little bit a couple weeks ago, and so he reminded me, like, are you eating sugar? Are you eating the healthy fats? Because that all is so important. Like, food is medicine, right? So as much as I love my supplements, I know that I have to, and I have, intuitively, I added omega-3s in, the fatty acids, to nourish my brain, and I just felt I needed help with inflammation a couple weeks ago, and that's because I was eating a bit more sugar at that time, approaching Christmas, and there was stress happening, and I was ready for a break, right, as most people probably were, but unfortunately, when we approach these holidays, we do tend to eat more junk food, and it's not good for our bodies, it's not good for our brains. So nurturing our brains is important, and so I'm glad, like, I intuitively already did that, and I told them, you know, probably for about a week or so, I've been tuning into my nutrition, weaning off the sugar gradually, right? Still having a little bit, but like the last few days for sure, I'm dialing back in and getting off, you know, having the grains so much and having the treats and that kind of thing. And it truly makes a difference. It does take a while. There is a little bit of a withdrawal phase with sugar as well. So I did some little tips in my stories on Instagram yesterday about weaning off sugar and some things that you can do for that. And I find, like, things like sugar-free gum, the stuff that doesn't have the aspartame helps. The Zevia, which is like not pop, but it's made with stevia, can be helpful if you want just like a sugary drink or something. The Smart Sweets I really like. I know they're expensive, but I do like those for weaning off sugar. And what else did I talk about? Herbal tea. So like fruity, I like fruity stuff. So, fruity herbal tea, just to like give you something. Cause I know I'm probably not the only one that gets into the habit on the Christmas holidays to have like dessert with every meal. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you might have some chocolate after or something, right? And so, it's just that time of year you feel like it's more okay to do that. And so our bodies get used to it. And so again, not overdoing it with that stuff, maybe having darker chocolate. Darker chocolate is also one of the things that's great for helping, and berries like raspberries, strawberries, blueberries are good for those sugar cravings as well, if you really want to dial in on your nutrition. And with women, we have certain times of the month that we want those things more. So sweet potato, that kind of thing, is good for nourishing and honoring that sugar craving as well. Because usually we need like magnesium if we're craving chocolate, for example. And so having the higher percentage of cocoa, darker chocolate is important. So I'm likely going to get more into that darker chocolate thing. Although I don't think I had any chocolate yesterday, and that was good because I've run out of it. So now I might not keep buying it because it is expensive too. But having a little bit of dark chocolate is not really an indulgence. It's pretty good for you. It has a lot of antioxidants in it too. So this is going to be a bit of a smorgasbord because I do these in the moment, but I think you get the point. Not straying too far off your routines, even when you're on holidays, is helpful. Like if I haven't been on a holiday for a long time, but if I was to go on a holiday, and the last time I have been on road trips or holidays, I've taken my supplements with me so that I keep doing that. I stay active. I try to get good sleeps. I don't love sleeping without my animals because I'm so used to that. That's my routine, so that is hard for me when I am away from them, and I don't sleep as well. Although sometimes I guess I might sleep better because they're not interrupting and waking me up in the night. But again, that's a routine that I'm used to. So I think it's similar to some mothers who are getting up with their babies all the time, and you just get used to that because I get up a lot at times. My dog's getting better that way for sure. But he often would get up two times a night and want to go out sometimes, certain times of the year. Sometimes when I do go back to work, unfortunately, he gets me up more in the night because he's probably not out as much during the day and he might need that extra pee break. But anyways, again, a routine that you can get used to long term. That was happening for the last 5 years. So he's turning 6 this month. But he's calming down a little bit with that kind of thing. Probably getting more used to my job and how I get breaks, and then I have to go back and on and off. He's probably getting used to that routine throughout the years as well. So I'm going to move on to meeting difficult emotions and naming and taming feelings, because I think it's an important topic as well. So we often resist feelings. We want them to go away. We avoid our triggers. We avoid feelings. We think that it's good to just distract ourselves, which is true sometimes if you need to be, working or at school or focusing on something else. There's a container exercise where you visualize putting those emotions into a box, or those thoughts or feelings into a box, or under the ground in a coffin or something to get them out of your head. So that can be useful. I've had that in therapy. I've experienced that, and it was helpful. Or like putting your hand up as a physical barrier if somebody's getting in your space and getting in your head, and you don't, that's not your problem, that's not your thing. They're maybe being rude to you, but they're not doing it on purpose. It's just there's something really heavy going on for them, and you feel like it's your fault and that you're picking up their emotions. You think, oh, they don't like me, that kind of thing. Just putting that hand up, being like, that's not mine, saying that to yourself, not to them, but saying it to yourself, like, that's not my stuff. That's been a helpful thing for me. And the container exercise, whether you want to put it in a coffin or not, I don't know. That's kind of morbid, but putting it under the ground or somewhere where you're not going to touch it until you're ready to touch it again. But what professionals are saying is that naming the emotions, which I get students to do all the time when I see them at school, using the zones of regulation. What is the feeling that you're feeling? What zone are you in? And then helping them by playing a game or talking it out or art therapy, whatever it is that they need and they love to do best. Sand tray therapy, I love that one. And then out in nature, when I do private counseling, I do animal assisted therapy, so I have my dog, join us and help us in that. And I find with me personally, my cats are really helpful as well as animal assistants. Like, for animal assisted therapy, which is my passion, what I did my thesis on. It's amazing. It's absolutely life-changing to watch it and to experience it as a human being. And it's my last dog, as well as my cats and my current dog, have all helped me through the loss of my father, and then my last dog, and then my, grandpa, grandma, aunts, like uncle. It's just an ongoing, grief is an ongoing thing, right? Especially when you counsel people with grief as well. So it's an ongoing thing for me constantly, and animals help me 100%. My dog is so calm right now and just so cute, he's not always calm, so it's nice. He knows, I think, when I do these podcasts that I am working, and he understands probably with the tone of my voice and the fact that I'm talking into my phone in a kind of a serious way that I am working right now, and he's here to support me. Although he interrupted me earlier because he was outside and walked back in. But anyways, I'm going to go back to befriending our emotions, holding them, experiencing them, feeling them, actually acknowledging them, and then letting them go. So when we name difficult emotions, it helps us not to get lost in them. And we need to feel them in our body. And if we are aware of where we feel them in our body, it can help us release that. So let's try something right now. How are you feeling right now? I'm going to do this in the moment with you. What is the feeling that you're feeling right now while you're listening to this? Has anything triggered you? Has anything made you think of something else? Are you distracted right now? What's your feeling? Usually when I do these, I'm helping people. I'm hoping I'm helping the collective that listens to this. So I'm actually feeling quite peaceful, serene, light. I'm going to touch my heart, which is like on the left side of your chest. How's that feel for you right now? Is it beating quickly, slowly, medium? Just find what you're feeling right now, and where in your body do you feel it the most? You may have been through something over Christmas holidays with your family, your friends, and it's making you angry. Just notice where you feel that, or sad, where you feel that in your body, or maybe happy or joyous, and you're doing really well to start the new year. I know that this time of year can be depressing for a lot of people because it's dark and dreary. In Victoria, BC, it's pretty gray, a little bit chilly with the rain, like not chilly in snow, but in the rain gets into your bones. I guess the moisture. Take a moment to look outside, to notice what's around you, practice mindfulness, being aware of what's going on, and just not reacting to it, but being aware of what's around you. I find is really helpful to be outside in nature when, I do it every day with my dog, but actually, tuning in, noticing the leaves change, or sway in the wind, or the mountains, the trees, the birds, the colors, the green colors, fire. This is what I'm noticing right now. Very calm. It's a very calm day out there, but very foggy. not a lot of movement happening outside right now. And my pets are very calm right now because they can probably feel that I'm calm. I can see some leaves moving on the tree. Probably the hummingbirds are around right now, just flittering them a little bit. But there's some calmness outside with the fog. I've got my fire on. I've got a candle lit. And I find that really is calming for me. Hopefully it is for you too. Okay, so hopefully you can go into what's happening for you and be mindful where you are. So I'm describing what's happening for me. And my body feels very light right now, which is amazing. But I want to ask you to try and feel that feeling that came up about Christmas holidays with your family, friends, any frustrations, difficult emotions, maybe grief, sadness, anger, frustration, and try to get into a comfortable position, lying down, closing your eyes, taking some relaxing breaths. Let's take 3 relaxing breaths right now. In through your nose for 4, hold for 7, and out for 8. Let's do 4, 7, 8 breath. So in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. 2 more for the same way. In for 4, hold for 7. Oh, great. 1 more. Oh, 3. Place your hand on your heart or on your face or somewhere comforting for you. And let yourself think of that emotion, that feeling, those thoughts, clearly visualize them, who was involved, what was happening. Label the emotion. If you're having a lot of emotions, just see if you can name the one that stands out the most. And name it. So that's grief, or that's longing, or that's anger, or that's sadness, whatever it is. And be aware of where you're feeling it the most in your body again. And now focus in that part of your body and let the muscles soften. Soothe yourself. Maybe put that hand on your heart or your tummy. And just feel that feeling and that gentle touch that you're providing yourself. And just imagine that feeling going away. And say some comforting words to yourself. Like, you're safe, I'm safe, I'm okay. And just let that feeling in your body and your mind go. Thank yourself for practicing this. Continue to tell yourself you're safe. And now let's reflect on how that felt for you. So I have a little bit of a feeling in my stomach that's like not heavy. It's like just a little bit like, probably because I feel like I'm helping people. I feel like happy, but a little bit butterfly-y. So I'm not sure. That's a somatic feeling in the body. So that's kind of cool, actually. Because I'm sitting here with my animals, helping others, but also helping myself, right? Okay. So I hope that was helpful for you. I'm going to do a numerology card before I let you go. And enjoy your Sunday. I'm going to be watching my nephew play hockey today on TV, so that's exciting. So these are numerology guidance cards. So I'm going to shuffle them and choose randomly. And this may be good for me, you, everyone. If you're listening, it probably applies to you. It's meant for you. It's meant to happen today. And it's something that is going on in your life because something brought you to my podcast today. Alright. Kind of choosing middle of the deck. Oh my goodness. Definitely for me, this number is my number. It's number 7. Personal growth. So that is amazing. For me to choose that. It's my dad's hockey number. It's a big number in my life, and it's so exciting to pull that randomly like that. So it makes me happy. It makes me feel like he's guiding me and listening, and it's a lucky number. So I'm going to read about it. So this card indicates a time of significant growth and improvement when you are being encouraged to be the best you can be. This is a time to ask yourself, who am I? What do I want from my life? And what is preventing me from achieving it? When you ask yourself these questions, observe whatever comes up, then acknowledge your mental and physical limitations. Set realistic goals for overcoming them and take the necessary steps to follow through. With desire and determination, you can reach your full potential. By drawing this card, you are being encouraged to investigate anything that helps raise your conscious awareness and enhances your self-esteem. It may be a book, CD, online seminar, workshop, health program, yoga practice, or meditation. Or maybe working with an energy worker, therapist, or life coach. Whatever suits your needs. A step in this direction, regardless of what it is, will set you up for life. In order to improve your current situation, you are being asked to adjust to and harmonize with the natural rhythm and cycles of your life. Cycles that are leading you toward a time of significant growth and improvement. As you improve yourself, you improve your quality of life. As you raise your awareness, you align yourself with Source. This is all you need to make your dreams come true. Affirmation. As I improve myself, I improve the circumstances of my life. Okay, so that is so interesting and so, like I said, special to pull that card because I do these in the moment and I do them randomly. And I've got my dad staring at me in the picture in my living room here with my wonderful pets. And I feel like that was a helpful podcast. So if you have any feedback, if you want to rate podcasts on Spotify, that is helpful for me. If you want to share with your friends, family, loved ones, I'd appreciate that. And I'm going to let you go. Have an awesome Sunday. Stay calm, serene, and cool. And I'll see you next week. Have a good day, everybody.